BYD, through its distributor, Sime Motors, has officially launched the BYD Dolphin here in Malaysia, marking its entry into the emerging, or rather entry-level electric vehicle market, with pricing starting from just under 100,000 ringgit for the dynamic standard range and goes up to 125,000 ringgit for the premium extended range. Now, in terms of pricing, it goes up against the Neta, which is also a sub 100,000 ringgit car, but in terms of equipment and kit list, this obviously wipes the floor with it, and let's get into it. As mentioned earlier, there are only two variants on offer, the premium and the standard, and separating the two apart is actually pretty easy if you want to visually distinguish the two. So the premium comes in three colors, all of which come in a dual tone finish, whereas the standard is the only variant to come with a single tone, like full single color basically, and there are only two colors available for the dynamic standard model. Another differentiating factor is that the premium sit on 17-inch wheels, whereas the standard sit on 16-inch wheels. Now, regardless of your pick, they both come with full LED lighting on the exterior and interior, and you're not going to find a single bulb on the entire car except for the lighting element in the boot, which I really like, because LED is so much better than bulb, right? And speaking of LED, the front comes with the signature BYD element here, or at least BYD lighting element, so you can tell from afar that it's actually a BYD model through this continuous LED daytime running lights. Now, lighting, as I mentioned earlier, is fully LED, and the back, the taillights, really nice wavy design. I really like the way the back looks. For those who are wondering, in terms of dimensions, this Dolphin is actually bigger than the Neta by every considerable metric. So inside out, wheelbase and all that, it's quite a bit bigger than the Neta, but not quite as big as, I guess, a very similarly priced EV, which is the GWM or a good cat. That car is a segment above, which you'll find out when you step inside, but other than that, I think this is a pretty solid B segment EV. And let's go check out the interior. Stepping inside, this is quite the departure from the Atto 3 that we're familiar with, but it's not a bad thing because I quite like this more traditional but still quite well appointed cabin. At least if you look at the dashboard, it has this sort of a floating effect, which I kind of like. And taking center stage is, of course, this 12.8-inch rotatable display, but it only rotates this way. I'm sure you guys are already very familiar with this display. It supports Apple CarPlay, and it's quite responsive, and it's something that I like. Oh, but Apple CarPlay is via a USB-A wired connection, and you also have a USB-C charger here. But back to the business here. For the driver, you have a rather tiny but very informative 5-inch digital instrument display. This is non-touch, of course. The steering wheel is nice. The buttons don't feel quite as nice, but I mean, for the price, you're not really gonna complain. In terms of the materials that you get, you have some hard plastics on top here, which is textured, so it doesn't feel cheap. This is soft touch. It's rather nice. I quite like it. You also have leather wrapping here on the door armrest, as well as the center tunnel. There is no like a storage area, but you do have a pretty big storage area here down in the center tunnel, so that is nice. And since we're on the subject of storage, you have a nice tray here for loose items and maybe your keys. Another one here, plus a hidden slidable compartment. That is pretty nice also. Oh, I also like that it's LED illuminated. It's a bit narrow, but it's nice, you know, keeps the center console or center tunnel a bit neat. And right here you have this rather oddly sized cubby. In the premium variant, you get Qi wireless charging tray with your phone that slides right into here. And when you do, it prompts on the display to show that it is charging. But I do have to say, for all the things that are nice here, I don't quite like how some of the finishes feel. So you have this gear selector here, but it is a bit fiddly, and I don't quite enjoy the toggle function here because it seems a bit counterintuitive to use because you're used to pressing or pushing up and down, but only a matter of getting used to. Oh, I should mention that what you see here is an all black finish, but there are three interior themes, or at least in colors. and you do get leather seats as standard. Back here, the rear quarters is actually pretty good for a B-segment SUV. In fact, BYD says that you have enough space that is comparable to a C-segment car, and I am quite inclined to believe it. This is slightly moved backwards because it's not my driver's position, but otherwise I think I would have like at least 2.5 full fist of knee room left, which goes to say it really is pretty spacious. Not as spacious as the Aura Good Cat, because that is again a segment above, but in terms of headroom, shoulder room, it is quite comfortable even for somebody like me. I'm about 172 cm. Like the front, everything here feels really good to the touch. The leather seats feel really supple front and back, and I really enjoy this aspect of BYD cars, and it's standard if I haven't mentioned that already. Now, other things that I should bring to your attention include these three flaps here on both the front seats, so that's pretty handy. A small storage area here with a USB Type A and USB Type C charging ports down here. In the Premium, you have LED lighting towards the side, but that's because of the sunroof, but in the standard version, you have the LED lighting here in the middle. That's about the only difference here. And in the middle here, you have the center armrest, you have two cubbies. You also have storage area here in the dome, and that's pretty much it. In terms of boot space, this guy has 345 liters of space, and it also has a 60-40 split folding function, so it brings the space up to about slightly over 1,300 liters when you fold both the rear seats down. And you also have additional storage space for your Type 2 cable that comes with the car to store under the boot floor, so that's nice. But do note that there is no spare tire, so you only get a fixed flat tire kit. That's pretty much it. When it comes to the equipment list, in terms of actual differences between the Premium and the Standard, the Premium adds on panoramic sunroof, ventilated front seats, as well as power adjustable front seats. Otherwise, they are pretty much identical, and that is good news for buyers. Now, in terms of performance, the Dynamic Standard range comes with a single motor powering the front wheels, which makes about 95 PS and 180 Nm of torque, and does the Century Sprint time in 12.3 seconds if you care for that sort of thing. Now, if you opt for the Premium Extended range, that's going to come with a slightly more powerful electric motor, making 204 PS as well as 310 Nm of torque, and it does the 0 to 100 sprint in about 7 seconds. BYD's innovative Blade battery pack is standard here, and in the Dynamic Standard range, it is slightly below 45 kWh, netting you a range of 410 km based on the NEDC cycle, or about 340 km based on the WLTP combined cycle. Now, on the Premium Extended range, the battery size is just over 60 kWh, and this is going to give you up to 490 km of range based on the NEDC cycle, or 427 km based on the WLTP cycle. Now, in terms of charging, they both get a 7 kW onboard charger as standard with V2L function, so you can charge your external devices so long as they don't consume more than 3.2 kilowatts. But the difference here is that the Premium can take DC charging of up to 80 kilowatts, whereas the Standard can only draw about 60 kilowatts DC charging at its maximum. Now, what really stands out to me with the introduction of the Dolphin is the safety kit. Regardless of your pick, they are quite well equipped in terms of driver assistance systems. But even that, you have like 6 airbags, you have adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, you have lane change warning or lane change collision warning, lane departure warning, automatic high beam assist, emergency lane keeping assist. The list is actually quite impressive, and for that to be standard on both variants of the Dolphin, it's actually quite impressive, and certainly a major upgrade over the Neta and in fact the Aura Good Cat. So if you ask me, I think you're getting quite good value for the car, regardless of some fit and finish issues. But overall, on the whole, for the price, I think this is quite the banger. Could be a nice introduction for you to enter the world of EVs. Now, whether or not you agree, feel free to tell us in the comment section below, and let us know your thoughts on the BYD Dolphin. Would you buy this over its competitors, or would you buy this over, say, like an internal combustion engine? As usual, again, please leave us your thoughts in the comment section below, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.